Are you saying without me, there wouldn't?
You are live now.
All right, perfect. All right, thank you, everybody. This is the Thursday, May 19th, Oak Hills Park Authority meeting. This is a call to order. We're going to start out with just attendance, make sure we have a quorum. This is Mike DePalma. I am here. Jennifer McAllister.
Jennifer McAllister here.
Rayanne Bromark.
Here.
DJ Trimboli. I could see him here. There it is. Babar.
I'm here.
And Carl Dickens is not here. He won't be here tonight. Neither will Alan Dutton. Joanne Drasco and Denise both said they'll be here shortly. So I know we will wind up having a quorum. So first item of business, acceptance of the minutes. Does anybody have any comments or move that item?
I have numerous changes, and I'm talking numerous. First of all, under the attendance, we should have Joe Andrasco as treasurer. They don't have his actual title. Then under staff, Paul Alexander, Mark, Don, and Jim Shell, we should put all of their titles as what they are. In the call to order, it should be acting chair, Mr. Dickens, called the meeting to order at 7:01. Then everywhere in the minutes, which is almost every paragraph, it should say Mr. Dickens instead of acting chair or acting chair Dickens. Then under public comment, Brown spelled incorrectly. And then we continue with the acting chair, Mr. Dickens, page 2, same thing in 3 of those paragraphs. Page 3, same thing in 5 paragraphs of Mr. Dickens. Page 4 in 4 paragraphs of Mr. Dickens instead of acting chair. Page 5, there's 1 paragraph where it should be Mr. Dickens. Page 6, there's 2 paragraphs where that needs to be changed. Page 7, there's 3 paragraphs where that needs to be changed. And page 8, there are 2 paragraphs where that needs to be changed, and they put Dixon instead of Dickens.
Okay. Very thorough. Thank you. I was not here, so I'll take your word on all of those. Does anybody else have any changes? And would anybody like to move that?
Motion to accept.
Motion to accept. Can I have a second? Anybody would like to second that motion?
Yes.
All right. So all those in favor signal by saying aye.
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 Any noes?
Aye.
No noes, and then I will abstain. So we have 4 yeses and 1 abstention. So the minutes have been accepted. All right. Pulling it up for public comment. Do we have anybody who wishes to speak? Looks like we do.
Charles Brennan, you have the floor.
Yep. Hi, it's Charlie Brennan. So just want to say, I played over the weekend. Course is in great shape. Pro shop was great. Again, issues with the restaurant. First of all, I don't know when the restaurant's ever going to be open for breakfast. We had an early tea time. It would have been nice to get something before we started. We got done 11:30. The guys we were playing with and myself and my partner were going to go up there and get something to eat. The restaurant's not open till noon. And, even if they come in at noon, it's not going to be a while before everything gets ready. I understand what's going on, but I think, especially on the weekends, I think it should be maybe open at 11 because the course is full. I mean, every tee time is taken, and it needs to be. I mean, it's definitely not catering to the golfers. So I just, I don't know, what the answer is, but it's definitely not golfer friendly right now. And, that's my opinion. And the guys we were playing with were turned off too, because they were all set to get burgers and beers and then leave, and they went up there and closed. So that's it.
All right. Appreciate it. We will be touching upon that definitely a little bit later on. So appreciate that feedback. Anyone else wish to speak? All right. Seeing none, we will close public comment. Committee reports. We'll start with Mr. Jerry Crowley, supporters of Oak Hills.
There we are. I don't have a report after waiting all that long. I have no further information than from last, but we're working on a little change within our organization that should speed up the figures, facts and figures.
Great. Perfect. Sounds good. Just for the minutes, it looks like we just had Denise Brown, Joanne Drasco, and Carl Dickens joined. I know Joe joined a little bit earlier, so just to mark them down as present. Denise, you just joined. Are you ready to do the tennis update, or do you want me to do Rayanne, the Rules Committee first? It's up to you. Oh, I think you're muted.
You're already at the tennis update already?
Perfect timing. It was your turn,
Oh.
but I didn't know if you wanted a minute to gather yourself, or do you want to go?
Yeah, I can speak now. That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm okay. Good evening, everybody. Hope everybody's doing well. Let's see. I had sent some information over to Mark, so he's going to show you the graphics of the design for the patio that we're working on. I received 3 estimates, and I believe last week I sent it out to everybody. I'm not sure who had a chance to look at it. We decided that we were going to use Thomas Construction. It's Thomas Costello Landscaping. He was the first one to bid, but we decided to follow through with him. We like the communication. His price is reasonable. We've changed our bid. So what we're doing is we have the patio area, which is, at the bottom of the tennis building. And then we're going to do a walkway, which is going to be from the courts, which are the 6-bay courts, all the way up to the driveway. We've selected a stone that is it's not a granite. It is called like a city. I'm sorry, I don't have that right in front of me. Hold on one second. It's a Nicoloc paver. And so the pavers, they're very popular right now. They're quite big and heavy stones. They come in different sizes. So it'll be like a combination of different stones placed in a pattern. But it'll be a nice walkway, a simple walkway. It'll extend onto the patio. There will be borders to outline the walkway all the way to the parking lot. And Tom Costello said that it would take about a week for completion. My only concern is that they will have to have a saw on site for cutting. So that's going to be a timing issue, because we don't want to have a lot of, there's matches in the morning. So it's going to be something that we're going to have to work out for a timing issue, so that he's doing it in the afternoon when it's not too busy. And they're going to obviously have to just watch the equipment, make sure that it's not laying around. I know that the kids program starts, I think it's in late June or the first week in July. So I'm hoping that we'll have that, everything will be completed by then, since he said it would be a week. The cost is going to be around $25,000. The supporters at this point will have about 24,000 of it. I think it's like 25,000 and change. So we've basically raised almost all the money. And
it's amazing.
There may be a little bit that we need to tap on when the final payment is due. So we'll have a 50% deposit, and then 50% due at the completion of the job. And I mean, we feel very confident with the estimate, and we'd like to move forward as long as everybody feels that unless anybody has any questions or has any concerns, if they could let me know.
I just wanted to jump in and say that Jerry Crawley is here as well, who is on the supporters. So Jerry, if you're seeing this, just want to make sure that you're aware. I know that Denise was in touch with you guys before, but I think we're going to move forward with this at this point.
Okay, great. You want me to relay that to the rest of them?
If you don't mind, yes. And it sounds like over the course of the next week, there should be, as Denise just said, just about that amount of money would be in there for the tennis fund within the supporters. So it'll be self-funded.
That's great. Good news.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll let you know.
And I think after the dinner, I mean, we're going to bring in some more money. So, I'm not concerned about, where we stand with it. So like I said, 90% of it will be paid back, donated money.
That's awesome. That's a great job.
Great job, Denise.
Very nice.
Thank you. So I don't know if anybody has any questions. Anybody else?
It'll be a nice improvement.
Yeah, it'll be nice. Jim, your thoughts? Thumbs up?
Gonna be perfect. I'm jealous because I didn't get to do it. She got the money though. She wanted to do it. That's fine.
That's good. Well, that's awesome.
Okay. I mean, great. I'm glad everybody is on page with it, and thank you very much. And so hopefully, I got my fingers crossed that it's going to go smooth. I mean, you never know when projects begin what's going to happen, but I'll let you all know definitely when the start date is, and just how it's going as it is completed. So I'm hoping that maybe mid-June. That's my estimate of when it would be done, but I'm not sure. So.
Okay.
Okay.
And did you want to mention anything about Sunday or?
Yeah. So our fundraising dinner is at Smoking Aces this Sunday. It's from 3 to 6. I've heard back from some of you who can and cannot come. If you want, I'll circulate one more email and then you can just respond to me. Jerry, I don't think you were here last week. And but I'm pretty sure I put you on the email, so I wasn't sure if you were able to attend. Even if anybody would like to just stop in, in that time frame. Mike will be speaking. We're going to have, I will be speaking shortly myself, and Rich Dellinger, who is the chairman of Friends of Tennis. And then we'll have Jeff Goki. So that'll be everybody will be speaking maybe 5 or 10 minutes. And Carl, are you on, Carl? Maybe. Anyway, Carl was going to attend, but now he's staying on vacation, so he won't be coming. And so I mean, it's going to be a very simple affair. We have a fundraiser, we have a silent auction going on, so it's going to be hopefully, fun for everybody who's coming. It's going to be 90% tennis players, and so it will be people who have been supporting the group for the past 2 years. And then what we would like to do is, once the patio is completed, we were thinking of calling it Arthur's Court, because it's going to be also, an honorary thing for him. And so that's kind of where we stand right now with that.
Awesome. Yeah, that'll be fun. I'm looking forward to it.
Great. Okay. I mean, that's pretty much it for now. Thank you very much.
All right, great job. Rayanne, any update with the Rules Committee?
I really have no update. As I stated in an email, since I am leaving next month and I am turned out, you guys need to find a new chair to take over the Rules Committee. So,
And we will wait for volunteers for that. So yeah, we definitely need somebody to.
Come on, Tuna, stop.
But
So-
that's basically it. I really have nothing to say. 'Cause
Okay.
Between transitioning to my new job and turning off, I really didn't get it underway.
All right. Well, I mean, we've formulated it. I think I know you have some other members of the team. So yeah, whoever's interested, please reach out, because Rayanne's last meeting will be next month. So, okay. Paul, golf operations report.
Okay, thank you. So as far as golf goes, it's been an abnormally slow start to the golf season. We had numerous days where it's been really cold and windy, And whenever the weatherman says there's a chance of rain, no golfers show up. A little unlike days of past. But when we have a nice day, we're seeing 200 plus golfers and full tee sheets. So we really just got to hope for some good weather. I think it's here now. The golf course is open for play from 7 in the morning to 6 p.m. during the week and 6 in the morning to 6 p.m. on the weekends. And we always have a staffed bag drop out front. One of the big issues we've been having this year is our Golf Now booking system, and it seems to be working for most people at the moment. It's been a long, tedious process. It was more complicated than I anticipated. Oak Hills Park has a very complicated tee sheet as far as our numerous categories, and I really believe that Golf Now had to build some things specific for us. If there are any problems recently with it, it seems to have been user error. And I think everyone's kind of getting comfortable with the new booking process. And I think here another week or so, we should really have things kind of nice and tidy and really ready to move forward with no problems. And I really want to thank Bennett Dial, he's 22, and Hunter Platt, he's 18, and they work in our golf shop. And these guys are young rock stars, so highly computer proficient. And if it wasn't for them, I don't think this would have been possible. We would have had to hire someone to come in for a while to be our IT guy. But at the moment, we have 30 people on staff, and that's pretty much full. We might have one of our returning young men to come work in the golf shop. Just so everyone knows too, 21 of our staff members are over the age of 60 plus, and 9 of them are under the age of 22. I think I'm the only person in between 22 and 60 on the staff. We've recently hired 3 young men. They all play golf and they're from Darien. And this year, I'm making sure that if you are going to be part of our outside staff or even our golf staff, playing the game of golf is important for your chances of being hired at Oak Hills. And so I think it really helps when we have young golfers. Obviously, we can't offer people as much money as we'd like to, but if we can offer them golf and clubs and lessons and some clothes and just make the job more appealing to them, I think we can attract some good people, which I'm confident we have this season. Our golf shop is filled with nice apparel. I think maybe I have too much. The weather's been a little cold, so we haven't seen the traffic in there, but we have lots of golf clubs, lots of golf bags, hats, shoes, outerwear, and plenty of demo clubs available for people to take on the golf course and try them out. And then new this year, which I don't think Oak Hills has had in over a decade, we have bag tags. Our Ladies 9-Hole Association has them, their own tag. Our Ladies 18-Hole Association, all our junior golfers, if you're somewhat an intermediate or an advanced junior golfer, you're gonna get a tag. And then I have some for the general public to buy for $5. And all proceeds are gonna go to a junior golf party at the end of the year for that. And I think those are great. It shows off our golf course and it gives us a little bit of advertising, and it's kind of, for golfers, maybe one of the must things you should have. Recently, we had 2 outings. The Fairfield Fire Department came for their first year ever. They had 144 people, and Norwalk Fire Department came last Monday. They had about 130. So we really had 270 players. They were all really happy. They were really impressed with our golf course and its condition, and they both booked for next year. We have 16 more outings this year. We only have a couple vacant Mondays. Those are in August when people seem to travel a little bit. We do have some new outings, and we have a few mini outings going on, as well as some, men's leagues and women's leagues. And a lot of the mini outings consist maybe of 8 to 36 people. We always hold those at somewhat off-peak times, so our members, annual pass holders, and some of the locals can get their tee times. But our men's and women's golf station tournaments have all started. The participation is really good. We're continuing to see lots of new golfers in the women's 9-hole league and a lot of new golfers enrolling in our clinics. I think presently we have 11 clinics going a week. These are all new golfers. And we're also seeing a lot of new members at Oak Hills this year, continuing as we saw last year and the year before. And I've been in a little bit of contact, staying in touch with 3 simulator companies and just getting to know them, going numbers. So I think whenever Oak Hills, if or when they're ready, we decide to do that, we can move forward there. I've also been in touch with 2 companies to help us build a tee line. We have a lot of rock, a lot of fill. Maybe with a little Jim's help and some of our staff, we can prepare an artificial turf tee line. I've been teaching golf there 11 years. It's incredible how we do what we do down there. The turfs are a little too small. So I think that would be another benefit to Oak Hills in the future. It'll be there a long time. And similar to some of the upgrades in the restaurant, our golf course, our grounds, and the tennis courts, you know, it might be really good for Oak Hills. Just continually trying to make our place better there. And then other than that, we have 68 carts, and thanks to our great man, Al Rossetti, they're all running perfect. They're all in great shape, and they still look really new. And other than that, we're just waiting for some good weather because we're seeing some busy days when the sun comes out. But
Yeah, it seems like it rains every weekend.
It'll be, yeah, there's a lot of demand to play at Oak Hills.
Yeah. 2 things. First, I did hear really good things about the firefighters outing. So great job with that. I heard from a bunch of the firefighters that it was really good. Course was in good.
Really good groups of people too. The course was clean and
yeah,
guys and a few women.
Yeah. The only other question I had, and you don't have to give it exact numbers. You mentioned a lot of new members. Are a lot of those you seeing Newark residents? Is it a split? A lot of out of towners?
You know what we see? We're seeing a lot of people selling their house in New Canaan, Darien, Rowayton and Wilton and moving to Norwalk. And one of our neighbors who looks down the 17th fairway just joined. And then we're still seeing people moving up from the city, buying houses up here and coming to Oak Hills.
That's awesome. That's really cool. Anybody have any questions or comments for Paul?
Hey, Paul, I'll talk to Don separately. Unfortunately, he's not here, but hearing Charlie Brennan's comments, do you think there's been any issues with, or do you think timing is the only issue? Is it consistent?
Well, you know, I know the restaurant business a little, and I've seen it at the clubs, and you know, I feel for him for a little bit because obviously there's some tough days. You got to have it staffed. You got to have people.
Yeah.
But I would say it's just not open enough for the golfers. I mean, and they're getting upset.
Is there no breakfast option available whatsoever? Not even coffee anywhere?
No. I mean, I have coffee in the pro shop, but people realize now you can't get coffee at Oak Hills, and I've got water at the first tee, but it's a little disappointing because me included, we were looking forward to that nice restaurant this year, and it just doesn't, it's not available enough, I think, personally, to the golfers.
But when it is open, do you think it's going well or it's doing a good job? Again, I'm not going to hold you to this. I'll talk to Don too.
Well, no, Don will tell you. I'm not seeing enough golfers go in there during the day. I told him I'd like to sit with him and brainstorm, and I did write some things down, but I think we got to really reach out to the golfers. I think Oak Hills.
I think that's a problem with consistency, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, you know how it goes. We're all the same. If it's closed, you might not be back. I think they'll always do well with parties and outings and things like that. But you know, you can't neglect the golfer. I've been there 11 years. It's really kind of a thorn in the side here.
No, I would think by it because
I'm sorry, just Carl's raising his hand.
We talked to Don about offering some sort of breakfast. Oh, yeah, go ahead.
I don't know.
Go ahead, Carl.
I have a question. I understand that the manager has been fired, and I understand the chef has turned his resignation in.
That might be true with the GM, and I know the chef isn't going anywhere right away. Maybe he wants to cook. You know, they want to work. They want to keep busy.
I understand he turned his resignation in last weekend. He said he would stay for 2 weeks and then he's out of there.
Yeah, I spoke to him once. He told me early August he was going to give it a couple months.
And Babar, if you want to give me a call at some point, I'm in New Hampshire, but phone works sometimes. Al and I and Michael have been working on this restaurant with a number of issues. I'll be more than glad to bring you up to speed.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I've been dealing with a bunch of the last few months in the food business have been brutal.
No, I can only imagine.
So, but I've been very absent from the club stuff a little bit, and I apologize for that. I was hoping to stay more in touch with Dawn about these things, but Carl, I will touch base with you tomorrow.
More than glad to talk to you about.
Yeah, and I guess this is a good point. Just to the public comment that was made earlier, and obviously echoed here about the consistency. That's the main complaint I've been getting. And I know I have brought it up. So is Carl, so is Alan. They are supposed to be open at 11 o'clock Tuesday through Sunday for lunch and for dinner. I've been assured that that was going to be the case. I was assured that last week, and then apparently, based on the comment, that promise was not met. So I know we talked about breakfast. There's nothing that we can do to really force him contractually to have breakfast. I know at one point we're just saying coffee and danishes or coffee and bagels and things like that. But I just want to let everybody know that we all have been trying to get to the bottom of why that has not been occurring, because according to their site, they're open at 11. I think maybe Tuesday it's 11:30, but the rest of the days it's 11 is when they're supposed to be open. So that's not the case. Please continue to bring it up, because that's again, we made a big investment into this. We spent a lot of time. So for the first month or so to go not as well as we had hoped is obviously extremely disappointing to everybody who spent a lot of time on that. So
Paul,
Do we
I'm
think
sorry.
pretty
Paul,
sure
do
that
you have a list of all the outings?
Yeah, it's on our website.
I mean, not outings, but the bookings of outings at the restaurant that the restaurant has booked. If you don't, I do.
No, I think you forwarded it to me, actually.
Okay.
List of events there.
Would you take a look at those again and see if any of those interfere with golf? Because a lot of them are on Saturdays and Mondays, and
I think there
I
are.
know Mondays were closed, but just to see, because they tend to start at 6 o'clock. A lot of these events that he has booked.
Yeah, and I would say too, the morning would be nice, coffee and stuff, but people are coming in after golf, and sometimes it's not available to them, or they're, because there's no one there, they want to shut down early.
When I saw you at 4 o'clock on Sunday, they were shut down.
Yeah, it happens.
Both halfway house too.
Yeah, the halfway house.
well, that's the other question I had for you, because I was told that it was open daily, but then I've also been told from golfers that that's not the case. So I don't know what your experience has been, Paul, or Jim, you're all over there all the time too.
No, there's a couple occasionally where the halfway house closed early, or maybe a day wasn't open.
I know we had that issue too, where the window was broken in, so it was closed for a little bit during that time too.
Well, this is recently though. I was out there, of course, it was packed with players. I was trying to find an open hole. It's packed. So,
Yeah.
And I don't think
It's been all over the place.
Yeah, I don't think our golfers they want a lot. They just want it open, and they're fairly simple. They want some simple things. It's not doesn't be a big deal.
Do we think it's because it's early days, and as the season officially starts, then maybe he'll be open when we need to be open? And he's just not sure right now. He's hedging his bets.
We've had days where there's been 250 plus golfers. It's been packed on certain days.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I don't think it has anything to do with that.
I don't think it has anything to do with that, because I've been on the course 2 or 3 times already, and the 3 times that I've been playing, it hasn't been open.
The restaurant or the halfway house or both?
Halfway house.
I spent 4 days last week, 3 and 4 hours a day working on restaurant issues, which Michael and I had a meeting last Saturday morning, right, Michael?
Yeah.
And we talked about a number of issues. And I would say if anybody wants to talk to Michael directly or me directly, I'd be more than glad to talk to you. I don't want to get into it here in this meeting because it'll drag on, but I don't think it has anything to do with weather. Yeah, there's a lot of other issues. And Paul, let me know too. I also heard that the bar manager turned his resignation in.
He's back.
Yeah, I think he's back.
Okay.
Maybe, it's probably not unlike other businesses, staffing issues. Just staffing.
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't think we need to get into the weeds of that, of staffing and things like that. I think that what we, as an oversight committee, in my opinion, the fact that the golfers are not being catered to and are not don't know when the restaurant opened, and that's something I do think we should have significant influence over. So
Yeah.
I think that needs to be addressed.
Unfortunately, we don't really.
You know, I would say too, obviously it was cold and rainy, but right now we definitely need some consistency there. Just like our golf shop, it's got to have specific times opening, specific times closing. Just so everybody.
Yeah,
Well,
you
it's
should
cold
be able
and
to go.
rainy.
Definitely.
It's cold and rainy, not just on the ground of Oak Hills and other restaurants that open. And I understand being open when you don't have a lot of people there and so on and so forth, but there's got to be a consistency, and there's a lot of negative history that has to be overcome with that restaurant and people going there, and it's not happening.
Yeah, it'd be nice to clean up the negative history and move forward.
Yep.
Have
Anyway,
a question?
Go ahead, Denise. Yep.
I mean, has he explained why it's inconsistent and why he's only open here and there and closes early, or he just does it and doesn't say? I mean, has there been any communication on what's going on for him not to be there?
yes. Yes, Al has had many conversations.
Okay.
I have not spoken directly. I think Michael has had some direct ones, but not trying to sound like a total butt. There's always an answer.
Well, yeah, I mean, I was open, and he did say a few of the days was because of bad weather, but he also assured me that he can count on the times on his hands. He said that he wasn't open, which doesn't seem to jive with what we're hearing today. But I spoke with him last week, and he said that they were open every single day. Said the halfway house was doing really well.
Not true.
I don't have time to go down there and do spot checks with work and everything.
Well, you're not even in town to go do spot checks, but
I
That's
walked
why,
in about
that's
3
why
minutes
we're
before
here.
this meeting.
We're here to do it for you. It's
yeah. I mean, I hear from you guys. I've been hearing from actual golfers who have my email and aren't afraid to send me notes and stuff. And so I've had time to delve really into it. Anyway, I don't want to delve into it here and block your time. But it is a problem we need to solve, and we need to solve quickly. And just so everybody knows, because of the contract that we have and the way it's set up, Randy's heavily involved in this. And Randy's also had a conversation. So anyway, I'll leave it at that.
Yep. Right. Just before we move on to Jim, I do think that we should, next month will be my last meeting, but I do think we should have a separate agenda item just to address and answer these questions that we can solidify it in a public meeting.
Yes.
I think we just need to have it, prepared, have a line item. It's going to spend some time, but we got to figure, we can't let this drag on for months after all the work we put in. It's just.
Hey, since you said next month, and I forget, the next month is the last meeting. Does anybody have a problem meeting in person next month, seeing how we've not met in person in 2 years?
welcome it.
Be great.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm good.
And Mark, you're still on. I know. I talked to the city about they're open and they are doing some meeting rooms, and I think our meeting room is like 100 or 101 or something right off where the security is.
Yeah.
If you contact her and request us to have a meeting there, she said she'd set it up with you.
Perfect. I'll do that. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Great.
Yep.
All right. Cool. Courtney's maintenance report, Jim.
Okay. All is well with the course. The winter damage greens, 3 of which were fairly severe. They're nearly recovered. It might be another month before they're perfect. Maybe a little bit longer on number 5. We'll see what happens there. Let's see, our cart path project, we're finally done with the bulk of the work, obviously, except for number 7. I mean, we've been waiting for the contractor to come back and pave it. I honestly think that's not going to happen. I'll talk about that in a little bit. The rough is pretty vigorous right now. I've actually been fielding some complaints. It's just part of the natural spring flush. It happens every year. And, Charlie, if you're still listening, you can tell Bob Patticini, whatever, that he can come on Wednesday afternoons or later in the week because they're usually all cut by then. It's definitely difficult right now to get out of the rough. Some people like it, but there's still the complaints. It will slow down soon enough. Speaking of 7, I've had a chance to get some other bids to pave the path. It's just a matter of coming in, touching up what's there, and laying asphalt down and leaving. That's it. So I've asked 2 contractors to give me a price. One of them got back to me real quick with a price of $11,000 compared to $11,300 from Deering, the original contractor. The other contractor, for whatever reason, they haven't gotten back to me yet, but I used them a number of years ago and they did a nice job for some little things that I asked them to do. But the one that did give me a price, I really don't know anything about them other than they have 13 or 18 ratings on Google, and they're all 5-star. I mean, maybe they've got that many friends, but I don't know. They're responsive. They are eager, and the price is right. I don't know how we want to move on that, but I'd like to get it done sooner than later. Before Memorial Day would be terrific, but I don't think that's going to happen. Let's see, staffing. Yeah, staffing is really difficult, and the wages being paid, they're really, it's not about minimum wage anymore. It's more than that. I can't even get people to respond. And when I do, they're talking about $25, $26 an hour. And I don't know how we're going to get over this, but I'm losing a guy to another golf course that actually has a union, and he was promised a union job starting July 1st, and he's leaving me next weekend. And a few bucks isn't going to do it. So it's something that I have to think about. I have to find a different way to get new people. I've been on Indeed. I've done Craigslist. There's nothing that really gets me a lot of good responses this year. I've gotten good responses in the past, but
yeah,
this year they're just not out there. I don't understand it, where all these people are that don't have jobs. And then last thing I want to touch on is equipment. We've had these 2 fairway mowers ordered since July of 21. At first I was told I'd have them by March, then I was told I'd have them by June, and now they're saying I'll have them this year, meaning 2022. So really I need to, it's going to be tough for me to plan on when new equipment comes in, because as it is, to get the fairway mowers up to snuff for this season, which we weren't expecting to have to do, we had to spend a bunch of money. And this is what happens when you don't replace equipment. We just have to spend a lot of time and money on repairing and upgrading and making it right just to be able to use them. So otherwise, if anybody has any questions, I am done with my report.
I do, Jim.
Yeah.
Where do we stand on getting all that documentation that they asked for that we were going to send back to the pesticide ordinance committee folks?
Oh, I had already done that, and
okay.
I thought you were attended the
I attended the last meeting. I attended the last one that the 4 of us did. You, me, Councilman Keegan, Livingston, and darn it,
Sure.
I forgot her last name.
Sure, I had already presented all that to them, and I received an email about the new draft of the ordinance, and it was exactly as we had talked about in the meeting. So I had some Little League stuff going on Tuesday, so I wasn't able to attend. But if they are doing what they said they're going to do, then everything checks out as to the last thing we discussed at the ordinance committee meeting.
Terrific. Yeah, that's I read through it briefly before I left with the redlining and stuff of that, and I probably didn't pay as close attention to it as you did, I'm quite sure. But if you're happy with that, then I'm happy with that. So
Yeah, I mean, it's what we
I,
discussed and it's
yeah,
actually.
they haven't set it, to my knowledge, they haven't set a public hearing date yet.
I think it's
Okay.
June 21st tentatively is the public
Is
hearing.
that what it is?
Yeah, that was
Okay.
what I had heard. So we could follow
I
up on
would
that. but it
say
was
that as many
tentatively
of
scheduled.
us, I would only say that as many of us that can attend that public meeting, we should.
I'll be there.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jim.
Okay. Thanks, Jim.
Okay.
Anybody else have anything for Jim?
Jim had a question. The tree that came down in the back of the tennis courts, is there two trees that came down or just one?
Just one.
Just one. Okay. It's a huge hole. It's a huge gap that it left as far as space. Now you can see.
Yeah, well, the pine trees, they seem to fill a lot of air, like space wise. And when they fall, yeah, it's definitely. But
yeah, I didn't realize the gap was so
companies
big.
are coming on Tuesday. We're going to take care of some dead stuff overhanging the parking lot, up at the restaurant, up the clubhouse, and some stumps that have developed from falling trees over the last couple of years. So just in an effort to clean the place up, make it a little safer, maybe drop the insurance rate. What do you think, Mark?
Sure. Why not?
Sure.
And about the cart path getting done for $300 less than Deering quoted, does anybody have any thoughts on that?
I say that sounds good to me.
I agree. I don't, Mark, with that money already allocated, do we need to vote on that?
I was actually going to ask Joe. I know he's the authority on that. I thought we did a vote on that months ago because it's going to take us about $10,000 over budget on the overall CapEx budget for the year. But I think it's been voted on, and I don't think there's any issue with that at this point.
I just know.
I
we
think you're
definitely
right.
voted on it.
Yeah,
I
we
just know
voted
we have
on
to
a
be
number. I can't remember. We voted on a number. I can't remember what it was, but to give Jim carte blanche to a certain degree, whatever it was, to go ahead and get it fixed.
Okay.
Yeah.
So effectively, we've got two bids. They're really close to each other. And we're going to go with the lower bid, if we think of it that way.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool.
Does this other company, Deering, was that who it was, did the original work? If they're not finishing it, do they owe us any money for not finishing the work, or is there anything there?
This was outside of this extra stuff was outside of the original contract price. So I'm going to say no to that.
Yeah.
Okay, but the seventh hole was part of the overall contract price for all 18, right?
A different section of the seventh hole.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, Jim. On to the financial report. Mark Gardner.
All right. Well, the big news for me is really the new POS system G1, that install that happened at the end of March. As Paul knows, we've been talking about it a lot. Just the new reporting that it's created so many issues and doubled or tripled my workload at times in certain areas. So I'm extremely behind this month. I finally finished the monthly sales report today, which is a month, sorry, not a month, but over a week late. It's technically that's the report that spits out all the stats. And that's what I use to pay the city, which our debt payment was due on the 10th, and I have not made it yet. So it is what it is. I think this is just a one-time thing this month because of all the work that had to go into it. A lot of the issues have been addressed already. So, and I've had them walk me through proper ways to kind of pull these reports because what I was doing, they gave no training, so I was pulling what I could, and it's gotten much more efficient now. And the big thing was for this month was just kind of mapping all the old SKUs, every single product item to the new names in there. There was no map. I just had to go through line by line of everything and figure it out. So it took an incredible amount of time. And that's basically my story for the month. But again, it was a one-time thing that is now mapped. And other than a few things that haven't been sold yet, it should not be a problem. Paul, I just want to touch on base with you. Make sure you saw those emails over the last couple of days You just need to pull out outings. Outings are not getting reported separately. That's being bunched in with green fees. So there's no way I can pull data because it is a separate revenue stream. So the guy from Golf Now, I don't know if you saw the email today, he wrote you what you need to do. And you could always call him, those guys, they'll walk you through if you need to, but we really need that because before next Monday, if you can, because as of right now, both outings that did happen just kind of went into historical data as green fees.
No problem. We'll take
Cool.
care of
Thank you. Anyway, everything else, just the last thing I'll touch on it with G1 is that I've addressed a lot of these issues with the implementation team and give my feedback, not just on some of what I would say is where they dropped the ball, but just on the reporting itself. It is not up to snuff, and I asked them to forward on my feedback as legit customer feedback to the powers that be, with my requests of what they could do to make it better, and they did that, and it's kind of in the queue with all their other requests, so it'll be addressed in the future. Moving on, our year-end audit has been scheduled as usual for the end of July. So the only issues I can foresee for this year would be related to G1 and some of those first couple of weeks with things being commingled, a little messy and so forth. Everything else, I don't foresee an issue. And the budget, the Finance Committee will hopefully be meeting next week to review and finalize the budget. I know we've had some delays from me. It's hard to get together. So that should be moving along. It has to be moving along if we want to get it out and done for the June meeting. So that'll be moving. Real quick, because again, I'm just super behind. I just wrote this commentary up an hour before I left today because I had if I didn't get that done, I wouldn't have. I had nothing to talk about up until the last hour. Cash was at $240,000 at the end of April. For the month of April, we had just under 3,000 revenue rounds, which is down versus prior year, which is expected, and it is up 36% over budget. So despite what Paul was saying is absolutely true, the weather has been hurting us, at least it did in April with the rain and cool weather, but it is nice to see that we're still beating budget. On our discount ID cards, we had about 300 cards sold, slightly up from prior year and up 76% over budget for the month. However, it had a lot of catching up to do. So on a year-to-date basis, we're just under where we expected to be with our membership IDs. And for cart rounds, we had a little over 1,300 cart rounds in April. It is down versus prior year and budget, and that was surprising given our new cart paths. So, rounds are down 17% versus last year, but carts are down 38%, and I don't know the reason why. I just saw this right before I left. I don't know, Paul and Jim, if you have any ideas on why the cart rounds would be down so much. I don't mean to put you on the spot. I'm sorry. I just thought of it.
Lack of golfers, and if we are getting them, maybe more people are walking. But it has to be tied to golfer visits.
Could it also be tied to that kind of glitch that you were mentioning just 2 seconds ago about the tournament rounds being lumped in? So maybe that the money from the tournaments are going towards the revenue rounds? No, that would be separate.
No, the outings didn't start until May. So, and this is all April data, so it won't affect that at all. And but yeah, otherwise you would potentially be correct there. And what I plan on doing for May is it was only 2 weeks worth of outings, so I should be able to go in and grab those numbers. And I can't change the system; it'll be historically in there as that. But when I put together my monthly sales report, I can take those figures and move them and properly show them as outings. So when I put out my financial stats, they're there properly.
Mark, do cart rounds from last year match up to what we have this year, or
no? Like I said, we were down about 36% versus last year cart rounds.
Oh, versus last, wow.
Yeah, but last April was very good. Last April we had not only good weather, but still the effects of COVID, where we just had great rounds and cart rounds as well.
And were people taking maybe individual carts last year still because of COVID?
That's my thought.
That's a good point. That is a good point. You think it was already done by then?
Too.
It was the year before that they were taking the individual carts. We didn't have too many last year.
Okay.
I think,
Thought I had solved it.
I think it's really the weather. And when we get marginal weather, we tend to get more of the serious golfers. You know, there's days out there I see it, and it's like mostly guys because the conditions are tough. It's younger guys because the conditions are a little tough. And then when it's cold, you know, everybody likes to walk. You stay warmer. So I think there's a combination of a few of those things.
True.
Makes sense.
All right. The last thing I'll say is just very preliminarily, I don't have numbers yet, but the one positive is that our budget, it looks like on the revenue side, we're going to beat budget by upwards of 60,000, and that's being conservative. I think it'll be closer to 70. And our expenses will probably be at or slightly over budget. So a net amount of maybe call it $55,000 over budget for the month. So not bad considering that the weather was, we could have had much more. We would have blown revenue out of the water if the weather had been more cooperative.
That's good, because I promised the last finance committee meeting that we'd be over budget. Or we'd make budget, because you and I talked about it, yeah.
You did a good job, Carl. Kept your
No,
word.
I had nothing to do with it. Nothing to do with it, but I do have two questions for you, if anybody else doesn't.
Go ahead.
Are we current on rent?
No. And part of that is we did receive the support for Q3 quite late. I think I got it on Monday of this week, or potentially Friday of last week. I told Don I would review it, and I just simply have not had the time. So I don't know if he's holding onto the check for that. But I will, now that the meeting is here and I've gotten done through some of the things, I will be following up with him directly. I also need the key from him as well, which I told him about.
And we do have a penalty clause in the contract on being late, right?
We do.
Okay, I personally would not like to see that waived until Mike, you and I and Joe had a quick conversation about it.
Sure.
And then the other thing is on outings, non-golf outings, parties. Do we get a piece of that action?
Oh, events at the restaurant would fall under their overall gross revenue, and yes, we would get 10% of that.
Okay. And are you aware that some events there it still affects us because of that 10%. Some of the charges are waived for people he knows, including the room charge and some other things and taxes and some other things like that?
No, but I would say,
I mean, he's running the business, but it affects our revenue as well.
Sure.
If it's 10% off the gross, so.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Is there any way that we can get it? And I know you're extremely busy. I mean, I know that, but is there any way at some point in time we can get an audit on that or get some numbers out of there to see what the costs would have been versus what the costs were received?
I can provide what he provided to me, which is spreadsheets of the of all the events that took place at the restaurant each quarter. And you see breakouts of each different type of revenue coming in and costs and stuff like that. So let me send you what I have and we can go from there.
Okay. Is that something that maybe you and Joe can take a look at?
Sure.
Okay. That's it for me from you. You're doing a great job. I know how busy you are.
Thanks, Carl.
I have
Appreciate
a
it.
quick question. Since we're late with the April financials, did we let the city know that we're going to be late with the payment and not have it be a surprise?
No, I said, well, I'm going to put it this way. In previous emails with the city, which really it's the controller, Henry Dashkowitz, he's joked about the small amount that we're getting, that he's getting anyway. So I didn't send him a preemptive one, but I did send him a note today, and I did apologize for the tardiness of sending the file so late.
They're busy counting the tax revenue anyway.
I know it's a drop in the bucket compared to what they're dealing with, but I just want to make sure that we dot our I's and cross our T's.
Yep.
No, that's a great question. And that's exactly what the oversight board's supposed to do. Good question.
Cool. Anyone else have anything for Mark? Hearing nothing. Thank you, Mark. Good to hear that we are doing well against budget. So awesome report. All right. So for old business, new business, we mentioned earlier, we got to vote on new executive committee. My term is up in June, so that will be my last meeting. I know Rayanne is also terming out in June. So we need to vote. So I know Rayanne, you had worked on the nominating committee. Do you want to present the candidates?
Currently, after discussion, when I sent an email out saying that we still needed a chair, I received an email from Joe Roscoe, and after his communications with Jennifer McAllister and Alan Dutton, we now have a full slate of officers, and the slate that I am presenting to everyone is Joe Roscoe as chairman, Alan Dutton as vice chair, and Jennifer McAllister as treasurer.
All right.
Sounds like a good slate.
It's a very good slate. Appreciate everybody.
Just a quick point there. I talked to the city twice now about Alan because of that weird situation that he's in, and they're aware of it. I don't think there's going to be any promise or problem getting him appointed. I was just told, which is the same thing is true with council people, they can't appoint somebody till the chair is vacant. So when his term ends in June, then they'll make the reappointment, but they can't pre-appoint before his term ends.
Gotcha. Yeah, because Alan's term is coming up and he took over for somebody, for those of you who don't know. Okay, cool.
Correct.
Yeah, I don't envision that being a problem either, but I appreciate you following up on that.
I was told that it was no problem, but you know how that goes.
Until I see him getting resworn in, Carl, I don't believe it. All right.
I'm with you, brother.
So does anyone want to move this for a vote?
I have a question. Yeah. So how many seats now will be open to be filled for the coming? 2 seats?
2. Assuming that Alan is able to be reappointed, then there will be 2.
Okay. And they would start as soon as somebody would be nominated or would it be in June or July?
It would be, they would have to go submitted by the mayor to the council. The council approves it, and then they would get sworn in July. That's how it was, I know, in previous years. So they would get sworn in July, hopefully prior to that July meeting, just depending on when the dates fall of the council meetings.
So they would submit a resume to you or to whoever's holding the position of the chairman?
They don't come to me. They would go to the mayor's office. We could recommend.
Oh, I thought maybe they went to you and then you had submitted to the mayor, or they get submitted directly to the mayor.
Directly to the mayor, yeah.
Okay.
I have submitted a few of them, but that's just kind of making suggestions. Ultimately, anybody can just apply to the mayor directly. It doesn't speed things up or slow things down to go through us.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, I've gotten a few before that I've passed on, just like you're saying, and it doesn't much matter one way or the other.
No,
So-
I've passed a bunch along too, and it doesn't speed anything up, so.
No, it does not.
But if you've got candidates, definitely, Denise.
And the swearing in thing in July, because Joe and I went through it when we said we'd serve another term. We actually got, and she's not there, Donna's gone now, but Irene's in the position, I think. You can get sworn in right in the clerk's office, so it takes 2 seconds.
Yeah, even if you're not at the meeting that you get voted on, you could just go down there and get sworn in, yeah.
Right, that's how I did with my very first term 6 years ago. I couldn't attend the meeting and I went down like on my way to work one day and it took 20 seconds.
Yeah, it's quick.
Should be quick. All right, so does anyone, without any other, I don't know if anybody has any further discussion, obviously you can speak, but does anybody want to move the motion to proceed to a vote?
I'll make a motion that we move to a vote on the 3 candidates that have said that they would like those positions.
Would anyone like to second that?
I will second it.
Okay, so this is a vote on the slate of candidates for the executive committee, which would be Joe Andrasco as chairman, Alan Dutton as vice chair, and Jennifer McAllister as treasurer. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All those opposed signify by saying no. Any abstentions? All right, passes unanimously. Congratulations to the new executive committee. I know you guys do a great job. So,
Great.
Congratulations, Joe.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
there you go, Joe.
Thank you very
Mr.
much.
Chairman.
Nice job.
This begins
Congrats,
in
Joe.
July, right?
Now we
This,
get to
yeah,
see you.
yeah, the plan is for next month. I wanted to vote it so the next month there's a smooth transition. We've been working together, but I wanted to have that one meeting where there's a transition, and then yeah, you would officially be in July.
Looking forward to it.
I'm sorry.
Just said, looking forward to it.
Oh, all right, cool. All right.
Yeah, and you get, Joe, you get to come in under the new year where there's a pay increase and paid vacation.
Yeah, that's right.
10% across the board.
I want
That's
that
it.
deal.
Yeah, I'm going to get reappointed. Yeah. All right. Last thing, anybody?
Like a
Item number
motion to
9.
adjourn.
I was just gonna say motion to adjourn. I second that.
All right. Thank you, everybody.
Sounds
Enjoy your
good.
night.
Good night.
Bye-bye. Take care.
Good night.
Good night.
Thanks, Mike.
Oh, goodness.